So we all kind of think that this format has been degenerately killed off. Well, it doesn't seem to be the case. Rogue seems to be turning up a lot of heads. So we're going to be looking at some deck profiles that Asian Persuasion ended up getting the information out for everybody. So I figured I'd give my 2 cents and talk about a couple of these. So we're going to be looking at the, I believe it's 26th place, basically top 32 version of Gem Knight OTK, FTK. Not exactly sure what this deck even does anymore. Then we'll be looking at Denny Vu's Crusadia list. So guys, please, if you want more of these fantastic deck profile discussions, always remember to like this video and communicate that with me. We're always borrowing information from other channels to try to just talk about these interesting things, because the more strategies, the more that people are alive or aware of the things that are going on in the community, the more educated the player base will just be able to be the thing. And to answer the one guy's questions like, why are you always scratching your nose? My nose itches. Alright, so I'm going to be starting off with Gem Knights. Now, things have kind of gotten a little bit harder. You're going to have to kind of reuse your 1 diamond because they've long since limited this card to 1. But that's no problem because Unicorn allows us to recycle our diamond back to the deck. You know, there's been a lot of workaround and things like that with just the particulars of, oh no, they had to hit Gem Knights, you know, blah, 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 blah. The deck's too good. Well, after everything was said and done, they did just that a couple lists ago. They put Diamond to 1, and there's still a few people out there that are still very dedicated to the craft of this deck. So you just kind of have to take the long way around now instead of shortcutting things with the Diamond. But to be perfectly honest with you, I don't see any issue with the current status of this deck per se. So everything's still pretty much in deck. So anyway, we're playing 3 copies of Block Dragon. Remember, this is going to be the one that you banish 3 of your Earth monsters from your hand, field, or graveyard. Rock-type monsters control can't be destroyed by battle, and if this card's sent into the graveyard, and add up to 3 Rock-type monsters from your deck to your hand equal to, you know, 8 stars. So basically what we care about is this is an additional boss monster that essentially floats. And I can't tell you how much floatability is actually very, very important in a deck like this. Now, this deck's playing 2 copies of Crystal Rose. I've seen a lot of people only play 1. It's kind of up to you, but I kind of think with changes to the deck now, the second copy, this kind of becomes a little bit better. But once per turn, send 1 Gem Knight or Meliodas card from hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, this card's name becomes the sent monster's name until the end of the turn. This card is in your graveyard, and banish 1 fusion monster from your graveyard, splash summon this in defense mode. Just recursion. We have triple copies of Lazuli, probably one of the best cards in your deck next to Obsidian. These 6 are going to be where you're going to be masking most of your advantage to make an attempt to kill your opponent. Triple copies of Rescue Rabbit. Honestly, this into Lapis or Tourmaline are going to be probably your big power plays. Honestly, Rabbit just gets stupid value in this deck. And then, of course, triple copies of Lapis, triple copies of Tourmaline. Once again, you need these monsters to set up your standard Gem Knight OTKs. You are playing a lot of Nillas, but it's absolutely fine because your deck doesn't care because you just go in OTK. Alright, we have triple copies of Brilliant Fusion because making Seraph Knight is broken. Triple Called by the Grave. Hand Traps honestly stunt your deck. You're playing this in combination with Drag Down. Combination of the 2 of these cards should allow you to alleviate any sort of opposition that your opponent's going to be having against you. 1 copy of Foolish Burial. Sending key pieces to the graveyard is really good. Triple Gem Knight Fusion. Hey, recursion is good. 1 Monster Reborn. Triple Desires. We need to make sure that we get to our combo pieces and go. 1 copy of Soul Charge and triple Unexpected Die for those very beautiful blowouts. The extra deck down here, we have 1 Kagari, 1 copy of Proxy Dragon, 1 Mrs. Radiant, 1 Link Spider, 1 Unicorn, 2 Quartz, 1 Curios, 1 Zirconia, 1 Seraph Knight, 1 Diamond, triple Lady Lapis, and 1 Diamond. In the side deck, we have 1 Effect Veiler, 1 Turtle, 1 Ghost Ogre, triple Ghost Reaper, 1 Kumamungus, 1 Makaba, 1 Shizuku, Double Helix, 2 Twin Twister, and triple Red Reboot. First thing I'm going to say here is lack of Firewall, lack of Isolde in the extra deck to hurt probably one of the worst matchups for this deck, being Goki. Kind of sucks. I don't know if this player just didn't have access to them or really the room for them, but you need to do something. Just kick this out and put it in. I think your life would be a lot better in the grand scheme of things. Outside of that, I mean, I like what this deck makes an attempt to do. The strategy, I've personally always had a love for Gem Knights as a whole, ever since the deck came out years ago. So getting the chance to see this deck kind of come back out of the woodwork into today's current game, even at a measly top 32, it's still worth exploring, because this is still one more top in the hands of very good players. So it's kind of something to keep in mind. I'll leave it to the rest of you guys to decide if you like the concept or if you don't like the concept. But once again, being aware that, hey, Gem Knights are still functioning. Some young duelist out there had some success with this deck. Pick it up, try it, mess around with the ratios and things like that, because that's what innovation and suggestion is all about. You know, people always have this negative connotation towards net decking. No, net decking gives you the chance to get information. Information allows you to explore and change things. Don't be ignorant to the idea of things like this. So, in ITT, Robbie's promoting degeneracy in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Who knew? Alright, the next deck we're going to be looking at is Denny Vu's Crusadia deck. Now, I've heard a lot of good things about this deck. I've seen this deck do a lot of crazy things too. But it's still Crusadia. The deck needs your opponent to kind of engage in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! The thing that's going to just win you games is you're going to just maximus your opponent. So once per turn, you target one Crusadia Link monster you control. This turn, if it battles an opponent's monster, you get to do double damage to your opponent. The downside, your other monsters can't attack, but we don't really care about that. So basically, you're going to use Equamax here. Equamax is going to gain attack of all of the monsters that it points to. Monsters it points to cannot attack, and then once per turn, quick effect, tribute one Crusadia or World Legacy card this points to. Turn one face monster your opponent controls, negate that monster's effect. If you line this up with a Kaiju pointing to it, amongst other things, you're pretty much going to OTK your opponent. And then, of course, the field spell grants an additional 500, and then it gets to attack all of your opponent's monsters. If you haven't realized now, this deck is just one massive OTK powerhouse that needs your opponent to try to play the game, essentially. If your opponent doesn't play the game well, your deck just kind of is a lump of nothing. It's kind of really weird to say that. But I like what Crusadia aimed to do in the current game. It's another going second deck. So, alright, we have triple copies of Ash Blossom, triple copies of Crusadia Arborea, triple Draco, and 2 copies of Leonis with triple Maximus with 2 Reclusia. And then we're playing 1 Doggeron, 2 Droll Lockbird, 1 Gandharla, 1 Jizukuru, and 1 the Thunder King Kaiju. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you, hand trap ratios, not looking bad. You do have to play a rather large Kaiju package, unfortunately, because you need to make sure that Equamax is going to be able to basically kill your opponent. I know a lot of people have messed around with ratios, and I'm going to hear a lot of complaints about 44 cards, but Denny has had a lot of success with this deck from this weekend, so I can't really, gripe too much about it, but just the way that it looks like it worked out is fine. Then we have Triple Called by the Grave, 1 copy of Crusadia Power, target 1 Crusadia monster you control. That Crusadia monster is unaffected by card effects till the end of the turn except its own. Okay. And then we have Revival, 1 Slumber, 1 Monster Reborn, 2 Desires, triple Drones, triple Engage, triple Twin Twister, 1 Succession, and triple Impermanence. This engine right here is the reason why this deck is good. If and when Hornet Drones ends up getting limited, I think this deck is going to struggle a little bit more. Actually, all the decks that kind of have adapted the Sky Striker engine as a whole are going to probably get hindered by this, honestly. But until that point in time actually happens, decks are going to continue to use the Hornet Drone's Kagari engine to just amass this large amount of advantage. And it's become slightly unfair and more degenerate throughout time, honestly. But we have to do something about this. Hopefully Konami will hit this. Down here in the extra deck, we have 1 Trisbania, 2 Kagari, 1 Hayate, 1 Phoenix, 1 Mermaid, 1 Gobbly, 1 Isolde, 2 Regulus, triple Magius, and 1 Equamax. Then side deck, we have 1 Artifact Scythe, 2 Ghost Ogi, triple Ghost Reaper, 1 Afterburners, triple Sanctum, 2 Evenly, and triple Red Reboot. Wrapping up Denny's list from this event. So I will say this looks about what I would expect from this deck. Maybe trying to trim it down a little bit, down to maybe 42 cards. But outside of that, Denny had success with this weekend, so we can't really take much away. But hey, it's good to see Crusadia getting the chance to do something in the current format. Guys, so please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about the current list. And guys, stay excited out there. The metagame is still evolving, and it's still not a shitty place, weirdly enough. The ride never ends, guys. Make sure you enable those notifications to get the latest videos that are being posted on this channel. Make sure you guys check out VanCole40 for my Cardfight Vanguard channel. And join me and House of Champions on the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. We'll be interacting with our audiences. And please check out No Limit Gaming and LGTCG.com for the cheapest trading cards on the market. Thanks for watching, guys, and please have a good day.